How far away are the forest fires at the moment?
The big one that's going right now is about 30 miles, 40 maybe. But the one that took out the houses this summer was a couple miles away. It's on the other side of the river.
Oh, okay. Does it light up the sky at night? Is it that big, or is it quite sort of
Oh
just
yeah, it's
smoke?
huge. If you Googled Wenatchee fire, you'd see some nice images of some of the bigger things we've had over the couple of years. Yep, some pretty spectacular thunderstorms going maybe 3 or 4 years, and that's set off some pretty big fires. We had maybe 3 years ago during the school year, all the kids were wearing masks and you couldn't hardly see. Visibility was nothing for, a couple of months. That was the worst one we've had for a while.
That's pretty bad. I mean, that's like living in the city. The amount of car and diesel fumes you just get them from burning redwoods.
Yep.
It's yeah. I mean, the UK's just had a load of water. The last month or so, well, the last few weeks and the last few days, they've had big rainstorms where months rains falling in a day or two. So
Yeah.
loads of pictures of the sort of the fire service pumping stuff out, that kind of thing, drains backing up, all those kinds of things.
Do you
But
do you get floods in your neighborhood?
no, I mean I live near the coast, so
Yeah.
it's they once they put the sea defences in about the sea walls in about sort of like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it stopped flooding. So it used to, and the water table's pretty high, but if you dig down in your garden to about a foot, and the tide's in, you'll get some water in there.
Dang. Well, I'm sorting quarters right now. Just I got somebody who wants all 1964 quarters for some reason. So
Well, a roll of them, or
yeah,
oh, okay.
I guess those are good to get.
I
I just
suppose yeah, I mean they're pretty good because there's not much of a premium on them. There's loads of them, and they're not got any rarity value or anything to them. So a
for
couple of rolls.
whatever reason right now in the States, a lot of places are premium on junk silver is super high,
Yeah. All right.
and people are having trouble getting it some places. So I happened to have somebody that had some, and I grabbed it to pass on. I think my theory is there's a whole bunch of kind of prepper purchasing in the junk silver right now. There's a lot of people thinking that things in the fall are going to be, if you're an apocalyptical type, that's what you go get is a bunch of junk silver. So I don't know. That's my theory. I don't see any reason for it, but premiums are super high right now on it.
Yeah, Silver Siren made a good point. It's the later stuff as well, like the 64s and the 60s. And there's no wear on them, so
Exactly. I'm sure
uh,
that's why he wants all
the weight.
64. And I understand because I just got a roll about a month ago. They were so slick you could hardly even tell what they were.
Yeah, I mean, you sit there rubbing the dates off with a file, and you put in the 1965s, and
Not the five. That's you scratch the five off. Oh,
you don't really get the junk silver over here in the UK. You do if you go to the coin shop, but they don't sell it the same way you seem to get it in the US, where it's like buy $100 face or buy a bag that's got so much in it. Ours seems to be, it's or the local coin shop I go to anyway. He's a bit more. You can't really get that sort of thing from him ever, and I very rarely see it on the sites. But I do see you see it on eBay loads. But
So do they sell it by the coin or by the weight?
I mean, they just don't do it in that way. So they'll they'll sell you like different coins. But
Yeah.
then if you want to say if you've got like a box of sixpence pieces or like shilling pieces or something, they'll just put if they're junk silver, they'll put a price on them and just put a box out. You don't get a discount by weight or what condition they're in or anything like that. Bit
What do
annoying.
they normally go for each piece out there? Let's say they're in that type of bin. Do they sell them by the each?
Yeah, just maybe they'll do like say 10 for the price of 9 or whatever. But they'll just sell you them at cost per coin, and it's usually pretty horrifically expensive as well.
I've been after the junk silver, constitutional silver, 90% silver, whatever you want to call it, for a couple of years now. I've been accumulating quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Love
there's a
that
dealer
stuff.
in the UK that sells a lot of American junk silver. Um, it's it's pretty good. I like it as well.
So of the Earth, is there a lot of junk in your area right now, or is there not?
No, it seems like it's fairly plentiful here.
Huh.
I've been speaking with Stackmaster G up in the Northern California area, and he has a hard time finding it. And when he does, it's pretty expensive. Um, I saw your post about 14.75. I think you paid, or you're asking, and that's pretty comparable. I was quoted 15 yesterday for some Mercury dimes, which carry a bit of a premium.
Yeah. Yeah, I got them for what 14.75, including shipping. Just because I put some up just as a special on that reopening deal, and tons of people were saying I can't find junk in my area. So I thought, okay, well, I'll get some more if you want it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people clamoring for it for sure.
Yeah, I put those up last night. I've already sold about 20 bucks face off those. I'm not making any money off those particularly. I pay shipping and then a couple of bucks for myself, but it just seems kind of weird that all of a sudden the premium on it online is super high, and
It
you can't
certainly
hardly
is.
buy it unless you're buying a bag of 100 or more.
And even at the $100 mark, they're still they're still expensive.
Yeah, like 16 bucks for a face value.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, I could share with you. I've got do a screen share. I've got a folder that has the title is $100 FV, and it's just the links to Provident, Atmex, JM Bullion, uh, Gainesville, and what is this other one here? A new one I found called Northwest Territorial Mint,
Yeah.
and they're all just links directly to their $100 bag price, so that I
Nice.
could kind of quickly get to it and shop their prices.
Good
For a
idea.
while there, Provident had definitely the best prices, but every once in a while, Atmex would throw a sale up. But those days are gone.
I did really well about 6 months ago, maybe at Monarch. They sold a whole bunch at about 11.50 or 12 bucks face. So I bought enough to cover the shipping and did okay.
I have never been able to log into Monarch's website. I'm not sure if it's some settings that I've got on my computer that don't jive with their site, or what.
Huh.
I've ever since Slacker was kind of promoting their board bars, which I love. I was looking into it and have yet to been able to get into their site. I've never logged into their site.
They use an older shopping system. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Especially if you're using an older version of Internet Explorer, it can be easier on the older shopping systems.
I'd shop the local dealers first and then come back and see what online deals might be going on, but the LCS always has them beat hands down.
Yeah, we've only really got one place I can get it here. There's a guy at the mall, and every once in a while I can get some pretty good from him. Everybody else, there's only 3 or 4 places, and everybody else just costs too much, you know, for everything they sell. All right, well, there you go. All 64s done.
Sound thrilled about that sale.
It is, you know, it's considerably fuller than the ones that aren't all 64s. So he's got a point. If you're buying a bunch, it makes sense not to get the slicks.
Hey, do you so when I've bought junk silver in the past, you get a lot of, well, you sometimes get sort of coins that found their way into it from, you know, the old colonial stuff like India, where it's the, you know, 92.5, and you get quarter rupees and things like that because they're about the same size as sixpences. You get a lot of sort of US constitutional stuff from, say, the Philippines or anywhere like that.
I haven't found anything different in a long, long time. I don't know if that's because it's being machine sorted along the way or what. I did actually. I coin rolled some quarters about 3 months ago, and I found a Balboa.
Cool. What about Canadian stuff? Do you ever get that mixed in as well?
Yeah, you do in the rolls, but it has a slightly different weight, so the machines catch it pretty good. Now, you used to get a lot of Canadian. People didn't used to sort it quite so much because, you know, the currencies were on par for a while, or close anyway. Now people get rid of the Canadians right away. I like the old Canadian junk stuff. Cool designs.
Yeah, the designs are cool. I quite like the quarters and the dimes.
Yeah.
What are you sorting now?
Oh, the same. I was just giggling because at first that sounded like a toilet. Okay. Nope, still going through the junk I gotta mail out. Put it up as a mix, so putting some dimes and halves and quarters in. Just kind of passing time.
Hi-ho, I just sent you a picture.
Where would I see that? I'm on my little iPad and I can never see anything.
Oh, I don't know, maybe not. I sent it to you on your Google Plus, you know,
Oh,
through the
okay,
Google
cool.
Plus, so you might not be able to do it 2 at once.
I'll see that. Let me click over to that.
I don't know how to do the screen share off of my cell phone, and that's the easiest way I can figure it out.
Yeah, I have tried a few things, but I can't see what people write. I pretty much can, I don't know, I guess if I went to it on YouTube, maybe I could see those comments, but. Okay, so Google Plus, huh? Yeah, that's a nice big bag there.
I'm still seeing.
Is that just from your local store?
Yeah, there's got to be maybe 10 or so jewelry dealers around that pretty consistently have fairly good-sized plastic sacks of junk silver. So it's not incredibly hard to find. It's just really about whether or not they want to sell it to me. I've built a relationship up with them for so long that they actually sell it individually for let's say each $50, for example, they'll sell for $12, $15, $17 sometimes a piece.
Wow.
Because they'll get coin collectors that are looking for a specific year that don't necessarily are going to go back to that place. So,
right.
They definitely don't like parting with any kind of big quantities, and if they do, they try to tax me. But every once in a while, if they're sitting on some, or I don't know, need to pay the electric bill or something, maybe, I have no idea, they'll part with it.
Yeah, when I was touring around this last month, a lot of places said, yeah, they had some junk silver, but they weren't selling it right now.
Yeah, I got people that are definitely holding on to it.
Yeah. So I guess why the premium's up right now, for whatever reason, more people than normal are holding.
I thought about letting go of some of mine, and that I got kind of like yourself. I got it on the cheap, and I thought about unloading it, but I'm going to see what happens with the premiums, and if they continue to hold where they're at, I'll go ahead and start unloading it. But I'm anticipating that the premiums are actually going to start going back down again.
On the junk in particular, or in general?
Yeah, on the junk in particular. I think overall prices are going to continue to go down just a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think in particular on the junk premiums, it'll kind of start to level out a little bit.
Right. Invisible
Somewhere along the way,
will do
Apex is going to get a big truckload of the stuff and then unload it.
Yeah. Yeah, but they still won't sell it at $5, or Provident will sell it for you at a dollar face. It's like $16.22.
Yeah, and then how much is it to ship it?
Well, it's free if you buy 100, but $100 order. Well, that's why I haven't used on my site. I don't use free shipping. Nothing's free. I just say shipping's included.
Yeah, and yeah, that is a clear difference. It's not free. You are absorbing it into the cost. That's true.
I always tell them it's free shipping, but I always build it into the cost anyway. I go with the advertising adage, if sex, babies, and the word free all sell shit. So sex, baby silver with free shipping.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow.
Free sex with babies. No, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, one of those is reversed. Put one of the other in place of one.
Yeah, I did it because, they all, in some ways, there's so many of these young stackers, they're not going to be able to always drop 100 on an order. And so I figured I was going to have some things that were, 20 or 30. I've got to include the shipping, but you don't have to spend 100.
That's the cornerstone of a lot of the dealers' business, is the smaller order.
Yep. And airtights.
Not to me, damn it.
Those freaking airtights for the 2-ounce elemental round. That's where they're making their money.
Has anyone seen the Silver Siren yet?
I've seen videos.
Yeah, there has been a video or two, yeah.
I was surprised because when I tried to order mine, they were delayed, and then just a day later, they were up on video. I guess that happened with the privateer too, didn't it? First one.
Some people are just hardcore.
3.
I think whoever's releasing videos that fast is obviously paying too much.
Good call.
Uh,
Well, they're definitely paying PayPal prices.
right. Which I've gone to. I do that on everything now. I'm buying on credit card just for the additional protection. I'll pay the couple percent. Yeah, there goes that toilet sound again.
Sounds like somebody's making lunch, or there's like a cutting board action going on.
It's me. I'm cooking.
It sounds like you're taking a leak in the sink from my
I'm draining barley.
You're sterilizing it.
Vegetable beef and barley soup is on tap today, boys. Should be ready in about an hour.
Nice.
Very good.
My parents owned restaurants, and we used to make a nice beef barley soup. Sounds good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Tell you what, I've just one of the items Siren put down as the for the chat to the Hangout today was the the DC series from the Royal Canadian Mint. Having a quick look on there. I think they're going to be left with a lot of these sitting on their hands. I mean, there's like what, Superman and Supergirl, and they just look really bad. One of them's got like Supergirl and Superman on there, and it looks like there's a speech bubble coming out going $10, $10. Like, yeah. Anybody a fan of these like DC things?
DC is
No.
DC Comics.
I mean, I'm a fan. DC Comics, Superman. Don't get me wrong, it's fine. What I mean is these this series off the Canadian Mint.
Yeah, what was it? Losing Louie put up a video of those yesterday, I think.
I watched this.
Hands.
I watched this Star Trek one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You were asking about finds in coin roll hunts. I do a fair amount of coin roll hunting here. I got a couple of nickels finds that I'm gonna show you here. Let's see if I can get this thing on. There we go. I don't know if you're able to see any of those, but I'm going to do nickel roll hunting. This are some of the European and miscellaneous finds I've found.
Cool.
Maybe do a little bit different here. Not very clear, is it?
It's not bad. What's that one right there with the 2?
With the 2, that guy. I don't know. It looks like Netherlands. Let's see. Not too shiny. That's the Czech Republic, actually.
Ah.
2007 Czech Republic. Kind of neat.
Yeah, cool.
This one is got an interesting edge to it. It's just sort of reeded, sort of not.
Yeah, a lot of the Euro coins are like that.
This is a Romanian 1,000 lei.
Ha! That's a prize you get for your social club.
I think it's aluminum. It's really light, really lightweight. Some sort of Chinese one here. Kind of cruddy, but Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's a cool design, though.
Again, real thin. This one is just like as thin as a dime. It's really thin. So each of those cost me 5 cents.
So those were all just in bundles of nickels, huh? In rolls, huh?
Yeah, just within the bank rolls. So those are kind of cool.
Yeah, my bank cut me off.
Here's some of my favorite ones I got. I haven't even opened them yet because I do the pennies as well. And inside of there, let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well. But anyways, there's a dime in there.
Yeah.
So that's a 10 to 1 profit.
And it's probably a Mercury.
Well, definitely till it's not. It's got the copper sides, but that's just a penny roll from the bank. It's got, I don't know, from some of the research I've done, it's got probably 15% copper pennies in it, and the rest are zinc.
Did you get cut off by the bank, IO?
Yeah, they were really cool for a while. I'd come in and show them all what I found, but then Loomis started charging them extra for my stuff, so they cut me off. I was going in with a little small hand truck each week.
So it's like an industrial operation.
Yeah, $2,500 a week of quarters and halves, and yeah, it was cool. I told them, I said, "This is what I'm going to do. This is what I want." Is that okay? It's a little small credit union, and I have a lot of money in it, so they were very cooperative for a while. But as soon as it started costing them money, they cut me off.
Same thing.
I wouldn't have cut you off. If it was costing me money, I'd have just recycled the coins and given you the same ones back until you got bored. That way, oh no, not my fault.
Well, it did start getting less productive over time, so maybe they were doing that. Who knows? At first, I was doing all right, but over the next couple of months, I was pretty much just getting all just brand new minted stuff.
I did it like ages ago, but I told him I was picking up float and put an order for floating. I only did it once, so.
That's the tactic. You just have to go to a new bank each time. They'll do it as a first-time courtesy.
Yeah, so how much do you get when you go?
I'm also with you. I haven't gone now for a few months, except for nickels and some pennies here and there. The pennies are easy. They don't mind those, but the half dollars I've stopped. I did it a solid 4,000 a week for, I would say, 5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And did very well up until the end. And I was maybe 3 weeks in without a find and just kind of getting static from the bank, and got to be kind of a hassle for the lackluster results.
Yep, that's exactly what happened with me too.
But I got pretty crazy with it. I was keeping a spreadsheet of how many I was finding and where I was getting them from and returning them to and whatnot. So.
Wow.
Felt good finding some cool walking liberties and some neat Benjamins and stuff like that. That was a neat feeling.
I never found anything truly interesting except the one silver Balboa quarter and one magician's 50-cent piece. It was tails on both sides.
Yeah, I'd seen that, I think, in either one of your posts or someone else, and I have not found one of those.
Yeah, I did a video on it once. I kept it. It's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do a Silver Planet type contest, heads you win, tails you lose kind of a thing, and to see how long I can keep it going. Oh, sorry, tails.
Oh, better luck next time.
Dang, that's 19 in a row. Wow. Terrible. It's worth about $10 apparently.
Oh, I found countless what they consider not intended for circulation type coins and gold-clad ones and all kinds of goodies like that, but never double-sided. Hi-ho, have you been able to get any more of those cast bars, or did you hold off with the 5 kilos?
You know, I started looking at that next case and going, it's going to cost me $2,500 to fill this case. I decided I'm going to maybe fill it with something else. I'm looking at those Monarch 50-gram bars.
Oh, okay.
So I got a little side account. I'm putting money in as soon as they do one of those 59-cent over spot deals. I'll probably get some of those. But yeah, I'm just keeping the 5 kilos, and then I basically gave my other 3 away last week online.
Yeah, saw that.
Yeah, it was just too daunting. There's other stuff I wanted to kind of do, and maybe I'll come back to those. But they're selling for $62, you know, each on eBay right now. And I was paying, you know, $52 for them, or 53 each.
I find some of, you know, if you're getting the stuff from Scottsdale, it's just about impossible. I mean, you obviously can't compete with their prices and their rates that they're going to end up paying for the fees. You know, if you're looking to resell that stuff, I have a hard time thinking that you're going to be on the plus side after it's all said and done.
Well, I could sell them all right now as individuals in eBay auction and do really well. If you're buying them, because I bought them all on auction from Scottsdale, but on auction at eBay. And they were, for a while, Silver Slacker grabbed a bunch at the same time. They were unloading a bunch of them. They were putting more out there on auction than they had bidders for. And so we were getting really great deals for a while. And you could instantly, the next day, I could have listed them and profited the next day as singles. Buy them as 4 and sell them as singles. For whatever reason, I guess they were just dumping this summer. They had a bunch of them.
Huh. Yeah.
But then when people buy them again as singles, they're still paying the $62 for each one, which was weird to me because the very next listing could have been 4 of them at about $55 for each one, and they're selling them, you know, as singles all day long for over 60. Now it's kind of settled down a bit.
Meaning they haven't been releasing them as much?
In groups of 4. So they're not releasing them in groups of 4 as much, not near as much, obviously, because they were making more money even after shipping, selling them one at a time.
Right.
Well, my experiment in getting that glue off the dime, my first one has failed. I tried to burn it off. I got a bunch of 90% dimes. It looks like somebody glued to like something.
Try lighter
fluid. What's that?
Try lighter fluid.
Yeah? I wonder if I have any of that.
Or skin so soft.
Yeah, no, it's like rock hard glue. It's like a layer of super glue.
Maybe like a mount or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to smash it with a hammer and see what happens. It might just shatter. Yeah, about 8 of them that had that schmutz on there. I should check the dates. Maybe there's something that they had them all glued on a station thing or something.
All right, Siren, here we go, just for you. be up sitting there for a little while, just some half dollars.
Nice.
So when the market opens up here later today, are we thinking up or down?
Up and then going down for the rest of the week.
So you think it's going to open up?
Yeah, I think I'll probably have gone up over the weekend, and then, just it'll start going down. I think there's loads of like instability with everything. So there's the Greek crisis is still rumbling on in Europe. We're all pretending that that's going to go well, and then you've got the Chinese have devalued their currency a couple of times over the last few weeks, and they had that huge explosion in one of their main port cities over the last week as well.
Yeah, and the U.S. Fed's going to raise interest rates here, which will make the dollar stronger. So on my end, that's going to drive spot lower. I guess on everybody's end, at least temporarily.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what the Bank of England does with its next review as well.
When does that come up?
I think it's once a quarter, so I think it's next month maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure. I mean, it's been really low for ages, but they're sort of tentatively saying, "Oh, we'll start putting the rates up soon," all that kind of thing.
We got to get back to some. I'm sorry.
Go right ahead, Ivan.
Oh, I was just saying we need to get back to some sort of normalcy here, little by little.
Is there any news about Greece coming up on the 20th? I've heard they're going to have some news about whether or not they're able to pay the next payment.
What they've done is it's the equivalent of you go to a restaurant, there's a big table, and you're going to split the bill. And then the French and the Germans are at one end, and they go, "Oh, we've got most of the table, but we've let you in, and you've lied about everything, and now it's all gone a bit wrong. What are you going to do?" So the guy, the Syriza got in on the argument that they'd sort everything out and get rid of austerity and all that kind of thing. Played a lot of brinksmanship, and then just got absolutely smashed at the end of it. He's now put through a bill where to get the votes to get it through, all the parties that opposed the current ruling party actually voted for it. So it's crazy, and some horrific percentage of the population, when they had a referendum on it, and they said no, we don't want this. And then a week later, their politicians brought back a worse deal. I don't know how you have any social fabric after that happens. It's ripping their country to pieces, really.
Hey, man, that's
it's pretty bad. I mean, they're getting the worst of it. with Cyprus, they let some of the banks go bust, capital controls, all that kind of thing. But it wasn't that they could afford to let that economy fail and then pick up the bits, whereas they can't afford for Greece to fail. So there's this sort of push it 3 years down the line, which seems to be what they're doing at the moment.
Well, Greece has got it doubly worse because it's got all those fucking immigrants coming over and sinking ships and shit and living on the street, and now they're begging for money now to help feed the immigrants. Ridiculous. Like, nothing against immigration, but you're going about it the wrong way, And I know it's not their fault. They're fleeing fucking bullshit in Africa and everywhere else. But yeah, the homeless population in Greece is rising quickly because of illegal immigrants coming over on sinking ships, or coming over and sinking their ships. Coming over.
I know that's been a big story right across the Mediterranean in the last couple of months. For the Irish Navy had an incident last week, but it's one that there's a lot of migration through the EU anyway and into the EU, and that's sort of as things become more sort of volatile in North Africa, you're getting a lot of immigration coming across the Mediterranean. It's not actually that far, so any country that borders onto the Mediterranean is going to have similar problems. The Italians and they've got very similar problems as well.
Yeah, and then they get in trouble because they've got a really expensive kind of a nanny state system, and they're kind of financially hurting at the same time, so it's like a perfect storm. They can't take care of these people.
Well, I know the British government sent a ship or two down, to act as humanitarian sort of stuff. But what was interesting was because usually, a British warship's considered British sovereign territory, and they suspended that for the duration of it, so that when they took people on board, they weren't allowed to claim asylum. They were only allowed to claim asylum once they were actually put off into wherever they were putting them off, which might have been Malta, Cyprus, I'm not really sure. But I think it's the first time we've ever done that.
Interesting.
Wow, interesting precedence, yeah.
So it's it's one of the big problems for the EU as well, because there's a system for migrant quotas and that kind of thing, and we're having Britain's having a bit of a big thing with the French at the moment, and saying Calais the big powder keg for this, and the British Prime Minister's described it as a swarm, and I don't know who advised him on his choice of language, but that was a stupid move. And the French have got big camps outside Calais, and it's sort of what are they going to do? They can't really stop these people going there. It's a real problem, and there doesn't seem to be a good solution to it, really.
Seems like a lot of the European countries and U.S. and Canada maybe should get together and kind of set up some better safe zones on the continent so they don't feel the need to take that dangerous trip.
I don't think it's the government's responsibility. I don't think it's Canada's responsibility. I don't think it's Europe's responsibility. I don't think it's Greece's responsibility to feed people who are coming across the ocean, or Italy's responsibility to feed them, or even Ireland's responsibility to rescue them if they sink their ship and they're floundering around in the ocean. I don't think it's the government's responsibility. Once you get involved, then you're responsible for them, then you're screwed. Like,
yeah, I didn't say
if they were tax-paying citizens, if they were, I know they have the potential to be, but they're not. So right now they're just costing money, and they're costing money in a time where we can't afford to waste that money.
I'm talking about helping them before they come over.
Yeah, it's not our responsibility either, man. Clean up your own backyard first. Like, the United States is always meddling in other countries' business. Canada is always meddling. I know some of it is necessary, but a lot of it is just bullshit. Man, clean up your own backyard first. Like those famous people adopting AIDS babies from Africa, man. You're telling me there wasn't a fucking kid in the United States that needed to be adopted? Fuck them, and fuck helping those. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's their responsibility.
Whether it's responsibility or not, sometimes it's smart.
Oh.
The kind of migration and problems that Europe's having by having so many people from different cultures with different values is a real challenge. And so it might be smart for them to prevent some of those people from ending up on their continent if there's another way, would end up being cheaper and safer. Just an idea. I don't think it's their responsibility, but neither is it a good thing to let somebody die when they're just trying to escape wars that we had some part in starting.
But yeah, well,
You've got a humanitarian duty as well. You know, if your ship's in distress at sea, you can't start splitting hairs and going, oh, well, we like that one, but we don't like that ship, so we won't help them. You know, I think it was actually a US military vessel that sort of set the precedent for this when after the Vietnam War and there was a lot of mass exodus from Vietnam, and there was a US warship that sort of docked with one and didn't provide aid, and then a lot of people died on board. So they now use it as a teaching aid at one of the you know, when they enroll naval officers. So you've got a GTT anyway to help, and once he lands on your shores, you know, and the European rules are that once they're here, you know, you've got a duty to help them anyway. So there's nothing to be gained by, you know, closing your eyes to it and going, oh, it's not our problem until it hits our shores. You're just gonna have worse problems.
my point is that's money better spent helping the people who are in distress in your own country, because there are plenty of people in distress in your own country. Doesn't matter what country you're in, what part of the world you're in. Yes, I understand that wars that we may have started are responsible for these people fleeing for their lives. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. That's a moot point. It's in the past. It's already happened. But when you're looking at people in distress, you're like, should I help these people over here in distress, or should I help people who are already in my own country and begging for help? Like, the more people you help in another country, the more people you're going to ignore and let suffer in your own country. That's just the way. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I am an asshole after all.
I get what you're saying. I just, you know, I think there's some middle ground where you can try and be the most good possible.
There probably, you have to draw a line somewhere. You can't help everyone. Like, Canada has this stupid fucking thing where you don't have to be a Canadian citizen. You don't even have to be on the continent. You can be anywhere in the world and claim to be protected under Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and Canada will come to your rescue. Like, that's bullshit, man. I don't fucking care.
Really?
I understand it's not people's fault where they were born. It's not children's fault where they were born. But, man, you cannot help everybody. And if you're going to help someone, you might as well start in your own backyard.
What? Can you give me an example of that? The Canadian, like, Constitution or whatever applying all overseas? Like.
No, I can't give you an example right now.
No, I just mean I just never really heard that before.
No, I can't give you an example right now. If I sat down on the computer and did a little research, I can tell you when that Tamale, the Sri Lankan conflict there that recently ended in the last few years, and all the Tamale ran off. They jumped on a ship, and a ton of them came to Canada, and due to years ago, there's this big black eye on Canada's name. We let a whole bunch of people starve to death in a ship that was anchored just offshore. We wouldn't let them in the country. So all these Tamales came fleeing after they got their asses kicked in Sri Lanka. And the Canadian government let them dock and just let them walk into Canada. They did not try.
Oh, right, yeah, but they'd arrived like within Canada's territorial waters.
Yeah, I can't give you an example of the other one right now.
No, sorry, I'm just interested. It's a bit like, you know, Australia's been accused of paying people off to get the boats to turn around. So that was the Australians from they've been accused of like paying people traffickers off to, you know, turn the boats around when they've been approaching Australia, but you know they've not admitted to it, but it's been heavily sort of said.
I'm a small government guy. The point I was trying to make was in how it affects the financial markets and how that's going to affect the precious metals. Those are serious issues in Europe, and they're in a precarious situation, and it could be to their benefit, even if it's not done governmentally. There are a lot of non-government organizations that can do a lot of good. And we got to find some sort of stability in some of these Mediterranean countries, or the financial market issues can spread pretty easily.
Well, you're looking at, Italy's getting help off the EU to sort of carry some of the cost, because in places like Sicily and in other, sort of southern parts of Italy, the amount of the aid, or the Coast Guard and things like that are just getting hugely overstretched, trying to respond to the different problems that it's causing.
Yeah, my main worry is more cultural, where there's a lot of cultural issues where societies who have kind of a set-up culture that is pretty functional and happens to protect freedoms fairly well is kind of being pulled apart by a lot of folks that aren't really assimilating and kind of melting in as much as maybe we wish they would.
What else do you think is going to affect the precious metals market over the next few weeks?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I really don't know. It's been up trying to predict it. I do think probably the next thing that'll affect it will be the interest rates in the U.S. Fed, because it's going to boost the strength of the dollar.
I don't think the Fed will raise interest rates. Is that a thing right now? I have really not been paying attention over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and most experts seem to be pretty sure that in their September meeting they'll do a 25 basis points.
Well, that'll destroy everything, I think. Canada recently lowered its interest rate, so. And I say recently, what was that, 6 months ago? Not really recent, but.
Yeah, I hope the Fed does raise. People who saved money have just gotten crushed. People who have had debt have gotten helped by these interest rates, and that's great, because that's, what we needed. We've been over-debted. But, like my parents, they've taken a bath with these 0% interest rates. We've got to have some sort of positive payback for some of these investments eventually.
I agree with you.
But I understand why they haven't done it, We're teetering. We could have issues, so I get it. But at some point, we got to pay an interest rate when you put money in a bank or buy a CD or whatever. We can't just be all equities all the time. We've got to get back to saving, actual cash.
No, I agree with that. I think that's the problem. Raising interest rates would be a good thing, but there are going to be losers, and it is going to be hard, and there's going to be headaches and bone breaking and all that stuff. Like my father, the other day, he was complaining about the government, and he's like, my RRSPs have gone down, whatever the hell he said, however much or whatever it was. And I said, first off, the government doesn't have anything to do with your RRSPs, and second off, it's an investment. Investment, if you look that up in the dictionary, does not mean guaranteed free money forever, up, 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 up. Like, that doesn't happen. Shit goes up, shit goes down. You have to fucking understand that. Yeah, like a 401k, sorry. Retirement Savings Plan, RSP. And then he got all mad at me or whatever for telling him that. Like, if anyone thinks that your investments will always go up, you've been deluded over the past, 6 years or whatever? 8, I don't know. Over the last few years or whatever, when the stock market's just gone up, 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 up. because that's not the way the world works, and that's part of the problem, is that the stock market always goes up. Especially these people that don't know a lot about what they're doing, and they're like, oh, it's always going up. La, 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 this is so easy. If it was easy, everyone would be rich, and no one would have a problem. You know?
Don't you think that's kind of what happened with China?
Probably.
You got a bunch of novice investors going, God, I'm just doing awesome in the market. And, you know, that crap collapsed pretty quick.
Probably. There's got to be losers, and that's what I told my dad. I was like, there's got to be losers, but no one's willing to lose, you know? He's complaining about the Canada pension plan. You know, that thing where the government takes care of you when you're old. It's not the fucking government's responsibility to take care of you when you're old. And the money you paid into the Canada pension plan while you were working is not the money you're drawing out when you're retired. The money you're drawing out when you're retired is being paid in by the people who are still working, like me. You know, it's not. There's no savings account. There isn't a little pot where they put the money in that you put in over the years. Your money's gone. It's just a tax grab. But that's why, like I said, I don't disagree with immigration. You need immigration. You need people having babies. You need children. You need a future workforce. Just you should go about it the right way. You know?
So what do we think of the new monkey from Perth Mint?
I think it should have the queen on both sides. Nah, I'm not a fan. I agree with Silver Siren. Kookaburra is pretty nice. I don't remember what the kangaroo looked like, but I'm sure it looks awesome. Oh, there's a new one this year too. Is it the kangaroo in silver?
There's one that keeps popping up, the F-15 one, the sort of like silhouette with the little winter sort of thing in the background. That's pretty cool.
Wasn't that F-15 Privy Rue part of the Fabulous 15 that came out of the Canadian Mint at one point?
I don't know. I just saw it on a couple of people's channels. I think 24K had one.
Yeah, I think they changed them up. They might do it every year or a continuation, but they've got basically, from what I understand, Siren's typing it over off to the side as well. 12, 15, 5 different countries, bullion coins, and then they put a little privy mark on it now.
Oh, okay, right, got you.
Yeah, I've got an older one with the kangaroo, slightly different design with the silhouette, but it also has the privy mark. Not well priced at all, unless you find them locally, yeah. This looks like a safe enough crowd to mention it as well. Just like Hi-Ho does finding deals and whatnot, I also find a lot of deals. You can see on like Stackmaster G's channel, pass it on to anyone that might be interested. So within the group here, looks like a pretty safe group. Anytime I show something, if you guys are interested, just let me know. Maybe I'll be able to pass it along.
Yeah, neat. Same thing I do is I've actually sold more stuff that way. It's just if you see something and you want it, I'll just make a little list and boom, it's done. I sold quite a bit of stuff while I was just traveling back and forth.
I've never really sold stuff to YouTubers. A few things to a few people that I knew were looking for a few specific things, but I like you guys, and I don't ever want to be getting, mixed business and pleasure,
I've
Yep,
tried
that's a
to.
concern.
Majority of my deals are trades. I much prefer that because that way it's straight metal for metal almost, or at least value for value. Uh, to get the dollar involved sometimes gets tough, and one person pays the fees or none of the fees or whatever. But I love trading. If you're interested.
Yeah, trades are good. I've traded.
Has anybody heard from AU Rebel lately?
I actually have. He left a comment recently. Um, he said he was going to be getting back into the community. I know his account is still active.
I was worried because I thought I remembered him mention his wife wasn't well.
I did not hear that. That is too bad. I hope
I
everything
don't
is
know that
okay.
that's true. I'm just thinking I remembered that. Maybe I'm misremembering. I hope I am.
You might be able to get onto his channel and find out some of his comments or activity.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I also noticed that I saw that Silverfish VT was either posted a video or left a comment. I saw he was active in the last couple of days as well. Very surprised to see that.
I read a comment on somebody's video about he may have been hanging out with another stacker. No, that was just a joke about a fish coin. Now I remember. Yeah, there's some guys like Epic RV, that were around that had really cool vids.
No one's heard from 8-Man, eh?
No. Nice. The Micmac 88 just put up a video here a little bit ago with a '07 Gold Pig Series 1. Nice looking. I think that's what it is.
Anybody else watch 24K's latest video? Well, one of them recently with his Sovereign collection.
I did.
Impressive.
Yeah, really nice. Makes me want to pick up a few more. He's got some really nice dates, and he's got the different mint marks and right 5 right down to a sort of half sovereign. How's the sort of sovereigns are pretty, yeah, they're pretty easy to get hold of in the UK. How are they to get hold of, say, in the States or Canada?
I really can't answer that. I know they're around and you can get them. I have no idea how competitively priced. I don't have any, so I really don't follow them. I think they're neat and I've always wanted some, but for whatever reason, haven't gotten any.
I know Canada minted them for about 10 years, and they're all really, considered pretty rare. So you get the sort of like really cheap ones that sort of, the bullion sovereigns for QE2 last sort of like 30 years, but Canadian ones sort of turn of the century, last century, and they're pretty nice.
I was thinking of getting, there's a lot of guys have been showing their little rooster gold lately.
Oh, the French, 20 francs.
Yeah, I was thinking of getting one of those, but then I heard about at some point they were doing restrikes of those.
Yeah, I just looked into that myself. I picked up my first one yesterday and found out that one of the ways that people are looking at this at the side, there's some people are saying that it all together the side of the coin used to say "Long live France" or not "Vive la France," but it says I got it right here.
Liberty, fraternity, and brotherhood, or something like that.
Correct. That's exactly what it says. 1907 and beyond, and then 1906 and prior says something else. It says, gosh, I've got it right in my hands right here, but I got to get my loot.
It's like liberty, equality, and something else. Can't remember.
Fraternity.
That one, yeah.
Here, how about if we do this? You guys can tell me what it says. Maybe I can get it to show up here.
So is that saying that if it's 2.7, somewhere I was hearing there was a restrike of some, and I kind of decided I didn't want to buy until I understood what that was.
People were talking about the coloration of them being more red, as the later ones are minted from the 50s with a different copper content or a different copper altogether. But
with the design of the post 06.
It looks they look exactly the same. The pre 07s are not restrikes. Anything from 06 and above or below, excuse me, are not restrikes. They did not restrike those. So the confusion comes into 1907 and up.
Thing is, the roosters are pretty, it's like a pretty classic design, but my favourite's definitely the angel.
With what is that? Almost like a fountain-looking thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's the angel standing at an altar, I think.
Oh yeah, altar. Yeah. There's the rooster. I don't think I've got the altar. I've been a big fan of the Indian head. I really enjoy those. 2.5 especially.
Yeah, I really like those Incuse Indian heads, the 2.5 and the $5.
So the other 20 franc I have it's not one of those. It's Napoleon III, so that's not going to have it. Just the plain back on that one.
Hello.
Hey, Salivate.
How is everyone? Had a hard time getting in, unfortunately. I just upgraded my computer to Windows 10, and it didn't like me on the edge. Living on the edge of a broken heart here with trying to get in on these Google Hangouts.
Never upgrade if it's not broken.
Well, I consider 8.1 to be broken, so it was
I had a friend of mine arrived to do a job and pulled his laptop out of his bag the day before, the day before Windows 10 was being launched, and all this water came out with it. His kid had tipped a bottle of water into his bag by accident and not told him, so I had to drive him around a load of different computer shops to try and buy a laptop. And I tell you what, it was hard going trying to buy a laptop because everything was preloaded with Windows 10, but they couldn't let you have it yet.
wow.
So I was running around trying to get one. It was hilarious. It took about 6 hours.
Man, wow, what a nightmare that had to have been. Crazy. Yeah, I figured it was actually pretty smooth transition, but there's a couple little bugs here and there in it. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to say greetings to you all, and it's karaoke time. So who's going to start with the karaoke?
I always do the third song, and I got dibs on The Gambler by Willie. No, that's Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers, that's right, the gambler. Yeah, there you go. What's
Yeah,
Hi-Ho going to sing? Hi-Ho's going to sing the Lone Ranger theme song.
Yeah, because I know the words. It's da-da-lut, 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 da-da.
There you go. Deep from the Pacific woods of the Northwest, or deep in the woods of the Pacific Northwest. Either way, it's still the same, right?
That's right.
Although sometimes it does get a bit squirrely,
Yeah,
depending on whether or not you've got the critter cam going or not.
I'm liking that critter cam. I'm going to have to play around with that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Of the Earth is here, and NAPC, and Fractional,
Yep.
and Silver Flash is hiding away, too. And, of course, a lovely Silver Siren. The hostess with the mostest.
Siren, those was from, if you can hear us, I think you can hear us, but you're not speaking, but awesome gifts over on CCT channels today. Was that from you? You can type your answer. There you go. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Very nice. Oh, did he post another video? He received some gifts from Fine Silver and Gold Bear Bunny, too, so that was a separate one. So these are more. Boy, he's being showered, isn't he?
Wow.
Indeed.
Yeah, there's a nice 20 Balboa.
Nice.
Stackmaster G just got one of those as well. That is a nice one.
Cool.
I quite like those silver Balboas. You know, you can they're sort of like what 3 point something troy ounces, and you can pick them up for sort of over spot. But it depends whether you get the matte version or the proof version. And the matte version, you can pick them up just like they're big silver coins. You know, they're really good.
Agreed. I like the 75 and 77, 78, some of those, the designs change, and it doesn't just have the portrait. It's got some really great other designs.
Yeah, it's like the sort of Balboa coins with the Conquistador on one side. I quite like those as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I was quite surprised they did a matte version of those coins, though, 'cause it's not exactly a coin you'd keep in your pocket.
Well, Franklin Mint put those out, did they not?
Yeah.
And they're going to do all kinds of stuff, anything to sell it.
Well, I think they were, when they were already pre-sold, they were done under license, so they were shipped directly after they'd done them.
Those ones, those big ones, I'm not sure. They could have been considered like a commemorative one, but I know that they're actual like boxed proof money sets were done like that.
Because I know there's the Franklin Mint does quite a few different places, sort of under license, a bit like the Royal Mint. Printers done coins for different people, but different countries. Sorry.
Especially a lot of those proof sets. Especially the proof sets, but I think the U.S. Mint actually minted their circulating coinage, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Panama.
They minted the old Balboas back in the day. That is true. They minted on the similar dies that the Morgan presses that the Morgans were made on.
Right. Oh, you're talking about the Lunar Series and the 2016s. Yeah, I think they're, honestly, I'm not as big on the Lunars as others are here in the community. I think they're okay and understand the They obviously have some numismatic value, but I don't get quite as excited over them. But I think these monkey designs, they're okay. I noticed that they're doing a lot of these designs and with multiple animals now. I guess that's to distinguish them from last series. And I think the gold monkey is a better design than the silver monkey. But the same thing, the koala is nice. It seems to be better than it was in 2014. And the kook is okay, but it's interesting how many different ways can you show a kookaburra. And but I do think that the silver kangaroos are kind of exciting, although they look nice in the video. This is their first year of issue, and it's also the first time that the Perth Mint has done 4 nines fine silver. And honestly, it's really kind of about time that other mints start doing the 4 nines fine silver, because the Royal Canadian Mint's been doing it for so long. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I kind of wish they would have come out with the kangaroos this year, the silver kangaroos, and it's a bullion piece, so expect the same quality as the funnel web spiders and the crocodiles or the alligators. Oh, so you'd like the silver monkeys better than the gold design on the monkeys? Okay, right. Yeah, yeah, a little point of disagreement there. That's just an aesthetic thing. I mean, people like it's I don't know. 2 is better than 1, right. Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of monkeys out there, and they could have picked a different one. Just like the goat, they used a long-haired sheep.
They should have done 3. They should have done, like, the gold one was See No Evil, the silver one was Hear No Evil, and then the platinum one was,
Speak No Evil. Stack No Evil, yeah. There you go. Or we could have a Skid Row album, a tie-in, and call it Monkey Business. That's right. 18 and out the door. Is an orangutan a monkey or an ape?
It's an ape.
It's an ape, okay.
I only know that because I read Terry Pratchett.
What's that?
I read a lot of Terry Pratchett.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. What kind of monkeys are on this on the Perth? Is it a spider monkey or a howler monkey? Okay. I think the U.S. Mint's probably one of the only major mints, that doesn't do a lunar series. Yeah, there you go. Too busy reprinting money, and Mexico can do one with the Libertads. They ought to have the Libertads, instead of doing a privy mark, have some of the lunar animals in the background running down those hills behind the Libertad lady. Or have all 12 of them and just do one coin and have all 12 of the animals, have the dragon flying overhead and there you go.
Tie it in with the crest on the back and everything.
There you go. Exactly. It'd be beautiful on the 5-ounce coin or round.
Hmm.
You owe me a Coke. You all didn't hear that, but I just pulled out the longest nose hair I could ever imagine. Beautiful.
It's hot.
Edit that out, Silver Siren, before you publish this video. Oh, you have no idea. You should see the hairs in my ear. I'm worse than Rocky.
Why is it that it sinks down through your skull and then comes out all the rest of the areas?
Yeah, that's a good question. On a lighter note, I did my first live streaming today, just playing around with it. Wanted to see what it was like, and it was
How did
kind
that
of
go?
fun. It went okay. I thought I could invite people in, kind of like and then it would be a hangout, but it's not. It's a completely separate thing. But I just saw the button on the side, and I only noticed it after I upgraded to Windows 10. I figured we're not going to give this a shot and see what would happen, and end up being kind of fun. But I didn't want to overlap with this hangout or anything like that. So I knew this one started about 2:30 my time.
I had a chance to check just as you were opening the chest and unveiling those siren-looking bars.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna do an unboxing of those. I'm gonna step back in time, and so you'll see that video coming up soon. I'll explain a little bit more about them. But Silver Siren, you might be interested in that too. Silver Siren has really become popular lately. It goes to show you the weight that she has in the community. At least 2 ounces. At least 2 ounces of to begin with.
Well, 3 ounces technically.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Going viral.
In Vogue, and I wonder if she subscribes to In Vogue magazine, because now she's in Vogue. And no, do not pipe the Madonna song in of the same title either. Oh yeah, I'm dating myself, aren't I? One of these days, all of us here in this hangout are going to get Silver Siren drunk so that she turns on her mic.
Nah, that only happens before you go live and she tells you what you're going to talk about.
What's that?
That only happens before you go live.
Right, yep. Rum chocolates, that's funny.
I know what I'm going to get Siren for Christmas.
What's that?
Those little liquor bottle-filled chocolates. Those are cool.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Salivate. Any future plans to get some more poured silver done?
Yeah, I've got other videos in queue, actually. I've been kind of remiss on posting them, but I need to get them going and get them up there. So I will upload some. And just there's so much stuff I need to do follow-up videos to the RC Cola, and the supposed to do one comparing platinum and silver. So there's a couple of things that I need to get through. I have some unboxings that are literally a month or so old that I need to do as well. But yeah, I have more in queue, and I need to get back down and do some more. But actually, I've got plenty of videos left for that. Well, not plenty, but I have a few more left.
Very interesting topic for me. I love just the sort of energy and machinery aspect of it. It's it's cool guy stuff.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's I tell you, it's amazing to see it heat and literally almost boil. You know, it's really cool, and to see it in person is even just really fascinating. I didn't see the meteor shower. Should have videoed it. Would have been cool. Yeah, it's about supper time for me anyways, but oh, want me to do the honors? Oh, yes. Okay, well, goodbye, everyone. Thank you all for joining in. It's been lovely, and I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all, and thanks to Silver Siren for these awesome hangouts. Hope you all have a wonderful afternoon and a great week ahead. Take care.